Hello, everyone. It's Monday. Not sure how many we'll have tonight, but we're going to go ahead and make a fun card and talk a little bit. We'll go for the bundle so that even if you're watching on the replay, it should go through okay, and you should be able to watch it back. We're going to try to stay on task tonight and not go too far off topic. I hope you're all having a lovely evening. If you're here today and you want to say hello, that would be fabulous. So I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it because I don't know how many participants we will have tonight. And I'm not expecting that we'll have a ton. So I'm going to, or a lot, or even our usual amount. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through the bundle, and then we'll get to work. So tonight's card is inspired by a quilt block design. I love to take quilt designs and recreate them on paper. It is very much something that is in my wheelhouse and that I do quite often. I know I've done it before for a live with for a scrapbook page. We're going to do a card tonight. So for our bundle this evening, we have Norma's Knitting, the 6x6 paper pad that is in your bundle tonight. This paper pad is so good because the paper in it is literally, it's just texture. Like, I love it because of that. Here, I'll show you a couple patterns. Hi, Penny. Penny's going to be with us tonight. She's going to be joining us. Penny playing the part of Christopher and our Brutus Monroe, and probably also all of my participants. So here is Norma's Knittings. I'm going to flick through it pretty quickly for you so you can see all of the beautiful designs. And then you'll know. So you can mix and match these. And like I said, this is just a paper pad full of texture. So you can use it for so many things. I always say this on my channel. These are my absolute favorite types of papers that you can cut and recreate and play with. And they are just on your finished project. They just bring so much interest. Like people are like, what's that? That's the kind of paper pad this is. So that's the Norma's Knittings. Then the second part of our bundle is the brand new 6x8 stamp set, Orange Spice, along with the cutting dies. So you can cut, you can put this through your Cricut. You can cut like little blanks. We've talked about this so many times in my lives. You're getting the cutting dies and the stamp set. And then we have gingerbread cardstock. And another new product, and we're going to be playing with this today, is this Pearl Shimmer Pen, which is probably one of my favorites. I love this shimmer pen. I actually I got one at Create Your Own Ending, and I think I bought 2 or 3 more after that because I don't want it to sell out. I want to use it for all the things. From my stash, oh, and we have a free gift tonight. So the free gift is these cute little red shift crystals. They match our project perfectly, and then we can go and we're going to go ahead and use them on our card tonight. They're not in the sample image of the card, but they will be on the card that I make this evening. As I fill them all over the desk. So that is our bundle and our free gift. Then from the Brutus Monroe shop, I'm also going to go ahead and use some pumpkin pie glitter cardstock and white cardstock. And then we're going to use a 1-inch square punch. And we're going to use some Weeping Willow Stellar ink from Silent and Curly. That's just going to be our ink for our sentiments. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we are going to cut 6 2x2-inch squares. Hi, Candy. I'm so glad you made it tonight. Yeah, those pens are amazing. And just get them just in case. Hi, Kate. So glad you are here tonight, too. So what I'm going to do is there is a couple different ways that we can make tonight's quilt block. I'm going to make one the hard way, then I'm going to make one the easy way, and you can decide how you want to make it. I prefer the hard way. I'll tell you why. Because the hard way gives you a little bit, just a smidge of extra dimension that I think helps to bring the card to life. I like just a little. It's not a lot of extra dimension, but it's just enough that I really enjoy it. So I'm going to go ahead and start by cutting 6 2x2 squares from white cardstock. These I wish I had some swatch, some of the swatch paper, because I'm pretty sure that the little swatch paper is 2x2. So if you wanted to skip a step, you could get a pack of the swatch paper, and then you have exactly what you need. I'm going to trust Candy and Penny to tell me if I'm wrong here, but I am almost positive that the white, like perfect blend swatch paper are 2x2 squares. So you could even just have that and skip this step. So you need 6 2x2 squares to start with. Then I'm going to grab our pattern paper. I'm going to do these one at a time. So we're going to start with some of the Norma's Knitting's paper. It does not matter. You can use whatever pattern you like. You're going to start with 4, punching 4 1x1-inch squares. It is 2x2. I thought they were. So you could get 2x2-inch swatch squares, and then you don't even have to do the step where you cut down the paper. So I'm going to coat this 2x2 square and I'm going to take these 4 punch squares and I'm going to rotate them. So we're not just like recreating the square onto the paper. We're rotating the pattern paper so that things are switching and going a different way. Now, the easy way that I'm going to show you, you can probably already guess what that is going to be, but the trick here is to line the pattern up against the edges. The middle doesn't really matter. We're going to cover a lot of that up. So the middle's kind of like, if you feel like it. Okay. Then we're going to take the pumpkin pie glitter cardstock, which I don't think it's included in the bundle tonight just because there isn't a ton of it. but it is in stock, so feel free. It's lovely. It doesn't shed. And we're going to cut 2 1-by-1-inch squares from this, from the glittery cardstock. And then we're going to take, and you're going to cut from corner to corner. I'm going to cut from here, from corner to corner, so that you end up with 4 little triangles. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create a little arrow. These arrows are going to alternate. Show you here. So the first one is going to go up here. The next one, I'm going to go over here. The next one goes over here. Candy said she's going to swipe her punches back from her sister so she can do this. You could also, if you really wanted to, you could die cut them. I mean, you want to. Okay, so we're going to go this way. Here we are. And then, in my experience, nothing in paper crafting is straight. So even though this looks amazing, we're going to have to give it a little haircut. You're always going to have to give it a little haircut somewhere. So there is the quilt block that we are recreating. And we're going to recreate this 6 times, but we're going to alternate it just a little bit. Now, what's the easy way? I'll show you. So the easy way is, you probably already figured this out. I can't imagine that you haven't. Instead of cutting 4 1-by-1 squares and then flipping them around to give them a different look, you can just go ahead and cut a 2-by-2 square of your pattern paper and then layer it up on top of the white if you like. It doesn't matter. You can do either way. I tend to do it the hard way because I like to be able to take those 4 squares and spin them and turn them and make them look completely different. But either way, you're going to get the same look and it'll be fabulous. I would suggest still putting them onto a white cardstock because that little bit of extra dimension, that little bit of that extra layer of paper, I feel like it adds a lot to the finished project. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and get 2 1-by-1 squares and cut them in half diagonally. It is more work. Candy said that's a lot more work. It is a lot more work, and so it just completely depends on you. I don't mind, but also I'm the girl that does all the teeny tiny detail work in the cup. I'm a sucker for the details. Let's put it that way. Okay. So here's our next one. Now, when you do this, this part gets a little bit harder, not terribly, just a little, because instead of having the 4 1-inch squares, you have to kind of just use and line up by the edge of the one big square. You don't have those little guidelines from having all the little punched squares. There we go. And always, there's always going to be a little one that needs a haircut. Hi, Nikki. So glad to see you. So there are two options. You can do them either way. I'm going to do the rest of them the quick way. And I'm also going to do 3 of them the opposite way. So let's do an opposite way one. So the opposite way is that we're going to do a 2x2 square of the glitter. And then I'm just going to grab, I'm trying to grab a different pattern, one I haven't used already. And then I'm going to go ahead and punch 2 1-inch squares. So we're just doing exactly the same thing, just opposite. So we're going to go ahead and put those through. You're going to make, you can make as many as you want. I made 6 for my card tonight. But you could, if you made more, you would end up, you could fill a whole A2 size card. It would go off the edge. And even our card tonight, I mean, you know, a card is, we've got 2, 2, and 2. So we have 6. We're going to end up with something around the size of 4. And so we're going to end up cutting it down a little bit, cutting down the quilt squares a little bit. So there are the 2 types of quilt blocks we're going to make. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate where the arrows point. And we're going to do them alternate between the glitter ones in the back and the pattern paper ones in the back. So if you have any questions about this, just let me know in the comments. I would be happy to answer any questions. You can do this. You can, most quilt designs, most quilt blocks are made up of triangles and squares, and they are almost always super easy to convert to 1-inch squares or 2-inch squares. And then you can create lots and lots of different cool designs on your projects, both cards and scrapbook pages. So all I do is I go onto Pinterest and type in quilt block patterns. And what you will get is you will get something that looks like just a little map with, and you just need to convert the sizes down to what you're working in. Most of the time, with very few exceptions, it's broken down into squares and triangles, and you can easily convert it to a 1-inch or 2-inch sizes. And some are easier than others. Some are really really involved, really easy. Stock is tonight's object, and what we're use it for is because no matter the me problem, I swear, no matter what I do, I always end up with things not being 100% the same size. So if you put these four together, they're gonna look a little shabby. But if you push them apart and put a color or cardstock behind them, hides a multitude of sins. So we just need 2 more. It is hot. Yes, it's hot here too. It's almost 90 today. Nikki, you know what I did? That's why I put, when I posted on posted around about the live tonight, I said everyone get a hot pet beverage and turn the AC up really high so that we can pretend it's fall. Okay, let's grab another pattern. We haven't used this one yet. Oh, Candy's creating samples tonight. I'm going to be creating samples tomorrow night for Candy. Or tomorrow morning, I guess. The work never stops. Good thing it's fun. Okay. So we need one more pattern paper one. And one more. And this will be our last one with the glitter in the back. Let me just show you the texture on these. That's why I love this pattern paper, because it's so like cool. I love it. I love that. I know it's like faux texture, but it's so good. It's so textural. I love papers that look like they have texture. They're awesome. Candy said she's thinking about putting up her Halloween decor. See if that would help with the temperatures. Well, if you decide, you'll have to let me know if that's the trick. Is that the trick too? Cooler temperatures. You know what? I'm enjoying it because before before too much longer. It's going to be freezing cold. And where I live, we get the snow and we get the ice and we get all that stuff. So I am A-okay with the heat. And I feel better when it's warm, health-wise. My body seems to be okay in the heat. It is not okay in the cold, though. I always have stiffer joints and I always have a harder time in winter. So it can stick around. I don't mind. So this is going to be our last card, our last quilt block. I didn't do any, I didn't use the magic of TV to make these because I feel like this is one of those things that if you see someone do it once, you're not really going to remember how to do it. But if you see someone talk you through it over and over and over, repetition wise, you'll remember it. And then next time you're creating something, you might be like, oh, wait, I know what I'm going to do. And then you've gone ahead and learned something new. So that's why I decided that we were going to do all these blocks live to camera, because the more we do it and the more I show them to you, the more likely you'll be able to remember it and then learn something new. Okay. So this is going to be our last one. Oh, Candy says we need to swap. She said she gets headaches in the summer. Well, that's terrible. So then for your sake, I hope it gets cold quick. The only time I get headaches in the summer is if we get unbearable. Like last year, we had a week where it was like 100 degrees and I had a migraine. Like I was sick through most of that. But that's really unusual for us here. It stays, I mean, 90s is about as hot as it gets. Okay, so all 6 of our card bases are done. Now we're going to go ahead and get our gingerbread cardstock, which is this like insane dark brown. Like it's such a good brown. I love it. So I'm just going to catch around the edges. And then the idea is that we want these arrows. So we've made this like kind of arrow piece, right? So we want those arrows to be pointing different directions. And the other thing we are 100% going to do is we're going to leave a small but even gap in between these. And with that dark paper, that's going to help in case you had to, if you had some that were a little wonky, which, I mean, it happens. It's totally a multitude of sins. Anything that's a little wonky or not 100% straight can be fixed with a dark background or Distress Oxide Vintage Photo ink around the edges. Telling you right now, those are the two best things. Really, really are. So when it comes to this, these areas where the 4 sections meet, those are the ones that you need to have straight and looking good. That's where it's super important. That's where any recipient's eye is going to go, right there to those center pieces. So as long as those are even and straight, you are good. Thank you. Penny says, so cute. I agree. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim the left and the right. So I'm just going to go here. We're not going to worry too much if we're at, oh, I don't know why it's doing that. Hold on a second. There we go. My paper trimmer decided it would like to eat the paper instead of cut the paper. I'm not sure what. First time it's ever done that. So we want to get this to 4 1/4 or a little bit smaller. And I'm going to do this in small little chunks. Because I want to get close to the gingerbread cardstock, but I also don't want to get it too. But that's okay. It's because we can't, I mean, can you imagine if I tried to do these little quilt blocks as 1 by 1 squares and then added all the extra pieces? It would have been a disaster. Just a disaster. Would have been awful. We're not going to do that. So I'd rather make this bigger and then just use my scissors and flip it over and trim it off. That's exactly what I did for the sample card too. We're just going to take our time. And then the entire front of our card will look like a quilt. That is my pit bull, Andre. He says it's bedtime. He doesn't understand about YouTube lives. So if you hear him behind me, like he goes, "Rrrr," that's him being annoyed at me because we're not going to bed yet. Okay, so there is our background. And then here's, I need Penny's TV magic now. Hi, Margie. How are you tonight? So nice to see you. There we go. Through the magic of TV, I have stamped and colored our little images for tonight. So these are 3 of the images from the Orange Spice stamp set. These are the 3 we're going to use this evening. See how immediately I love it. It's like it pops right off that page. If you want to, I can show you. So on that image, that Orange Spice image, here are 2 other cards I created with the other 2 coffee images. So here's one with the little pumpkin coffee image and more of the leaves. And then this one, I actually did no line watercoloring. And then you can see the shimmer pen, which is the next part we're going to add to our project. So let's talk about these shimmer pens. So when you get it, I don't want to open up one of my new ones. This is a one-way pen, which means you can click it and it will release the shimmery goodness. Get it started here. Unless this is my new one, which would be bad. Hold on. Just a second. Okay, this is an old one. Here we go. I knew one was already opened. Here. As soon as I started twisting it, I'm like, no, this isn't it because it's not coming right out yet. So you twist it probably 2 or 3 times just to get some of the shimmery goodness up to the brush tip, and then it just comes right out. And once you have it started, so the first time you do it, it takes a little bit to get it started, but once you have it started, it is good to go. And once it comes out, it doesn't go back in. It'll never go back in. So if you want to color your shimmer pens with something, you can. So I'm just going to go ahead and kind of paint this pearlescent shimmer over the center section of the little coffee, just over the middle. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the whipped cream part with the shimmer pen too. So it is translucent. You'll be able to see. It just depends on how you do, like how you put it on the light. And it dries pearlescent. And it's like, it's so cute. I love it. The brush tip makes it really easy to use and maneuver. And then if you wanted to, because it's a one-way pen and it's not going to, once it's out, it doesn't go back in, you can color this pearlescent with, I mean, the sky's the limit. You can color it any color you want. I'm just going to paint this right on. And if your pen at any time starts to get dry or feels like it needs to a little bit more, then you just turn the little clicky piece at the top and then you're good to go. Now, the first time you do open it, you have to give it a couple clicks to get it really good and flowing. But once it's flowing, you are good. It's perfect. I love how you say, Heather says, hello, Billion Broccoli and Sarah. Oh, I need a nickname. Okay, so here is our shimmery pen. I hope it can catch. There we go. There we caught it. There we go. So you can see how that. So cool. I just love it. Love, love, love this pen. So we're going to go ahead now and stamp our sentiment. I'm just got to get something. What? Yes, everyone needs to use a shimmer pen. I love it. Oh my goodness, it's so good. You guys try to come up with names for me. Please don't call me Scraps. I don't like that at all. No, 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 no. No, please don't. I don't like that one. I could go with pumpkin. Pumpkin's okay. I can see the pumpkin. Just no Scraps and no Ginger. Please don't call me Ginger. Pumpkin would be fine. I should cut this too. Listen, got me all kerfuffled, and I cut this completely too small. I'm live. I'm live. Text me.
You're live?
I'm live.
Say hello. How awesome of a son you have.
They're going to see how awesome of a son I have. Oh, look at you. Thanks.
For those who are wondering, I bought her alcohol. With her card, but it's a thought that counts.
All right. Good night.
Bring my dog. Bring her floating.
I got you. You're good. Oh. Candy said, I take that back. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't. Now we have pumpkin, billion, broccoli, thistle, and Irish. I love it. Perfect. I have no problem with pumpkin. In fact, my grandmother used to call me that. So pumpkin is all right with me. All right. So I think I cut this correctly. There we go. That's much better. And then we'll have our little down here. Let me grab my Misty. I feel part of a gang now. I have a nickname. Okay. Let's try a sentiment I haven't used yet. No, we got that one ready. Let's do this one. So this stamp set comes with the sentiments. I like you a latte even more than pumpkin. Sending you a mug filled with autumn magic. Words cannot espresso how much you mean to me. May your coffee be strong and your patience be long. And you're the pumpkin to my brew. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one that says, sending you a mug filled with autumn magic, because I haven't used that one yet at all. Let's go. I am going to put sentiment placement is going to be because we want our little pumpkin drink and we want our little leaf to overlap this strip our sentiment on. So put the sentiment as close to the left side as you can. And it's going to look off. It's going to look not centered because we have all this open white space, but we need that because we're going to cover that up. So you want to get your sentiment more to the left. We're going to use our little Weep Willow ink from Simon Hurley. I have the Stellar ink, but it doesn't matter. The colors are the same. It's all the same inside kind of pad you like. That is a personal decision that every stamper must make all by themselves. I'm a foam pad girly. Some people are a felt pad girly. Just the way it is. Some people are just felt pad people. That's fine too. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. Of course, my orange is all the way over on the other side. So then we're just going to put this whole card together. Be sure, if you haven't, check out the bundle so you can make a card just like this. We're going to go ahead and add our pretty gems and all the little bits and pieces. The gems are free with the bundle. The bundle price is $55.98. Look at me remember that. I am going to use wet glue to put down all of the elements on the front of the card because I am gluing stuff down on top of glitter paper. And sometimes a dry adhesive doesn't really like to sit on top of the glitter paper or adhere to glitter paper permanently. So that's why I am choosing the wet glue life. So we want our big element, our lovely coffee. We want it to overlap ever so slightly. And that's where that sentiment placement comes into play. And then we can go ahead and put one of our little leaves and fill in this space. And then another little leaf, and that can fill in this space. And then we can add some of our gems. And I will need my stabby tool for that. Didn't pull it out before I started creating. There we go. Stabby tool. Well, one of them. We'll use this one. That's great. So let's see, where can we put a little gem? We can put them there. And we can put them here. I think that's good. And this moved. Not cool. So we can add our little gems. There we go. There is tonight's card project. Thank you all so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed tonight's projects. And if you want to grab a bundle, they are linked in the description box. That link in the description box is an affiliate link, which means if you use that link to shop with, I will receive a small commission for sending you to the shop. And here's the close-ups of our card. I love this one. I hope you do too. Turned out amazing. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and I will see you again soon. Bye.